Ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, willkommen, welcome to the main event of the evening, the unification of the IBF, WBO, IBO, and WBA titles, 12 rounds of boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the BDB, President Thomas Woods, Supervisor Jean-Marcel Nards, IBF President Darrell J. Peebles, WBA President Gilberto Mendoza, WBO President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, and IBO President Ed Levine. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout, Adelaide Bird, Stanley Christodoulou, and Michael Pernick. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, World Championship veteran referee, Enero Gino Rodriguez. And now, for the thousands of fans in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with gold, officially weighing 110 kilograms or 242.6 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1996, and now, as a professional, in 58 fights, he has 55 victories, including 49 knockouts with 3 defeats. From Kiev, Ukraine, and Hamburg, Germany, the two-time world champion, reigning, defending, WBO, IBF, IBO, heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steel Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the Union Jack, official weight 96.5 kilograms or 212.8 pounds. His professional record in 26 fights, 25 victories, including 23 knockouts with only 1 defeat. He is the fighting pride of London, England, the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion and reigning, defending WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Дэвид Hэй.
Oh, okay.
Come on, you guys, let's go. Let's go.
All right.
Come on. Okay, guys. Okay, one here. Okay, come on. Let's go. All right, gentlemen, you got your instructions. Wear my 2 meters at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Now, touch them up. God bless. Touch them up. Let's go.
David Hэй has blown his trumpet. Will he charge?
Go back, both of you guys. Go back, go back.
Vladimir Klitschko has swatted away many of these yappy Pekingese. Can he still do it at 35? In weather tonight, fit mainly for walruses.
More than 16 minutes passed between the moment David Hэй entered the ring and the opening bell sounded. It's an extraordinarily long period of time. You've already heard Roy Jones offer his opinion, and it shouldn't have been a problem for Hэй. He was having a blast playing to the crowd.
He was having a blast playing to the crowd, and he also took his own chance to make Vladimir wait on him to take his shirts off and everything else. So he took advantage of the opportunity, but he turned it around and used it against Vladimir.
Experts agree. Hay's best chances in the fight should come early. The longer it goes, the better it would be for Klitschko in the expectation of most.
As like Emmanuel said, both fighters here have suspect chins, so whoever hits who on the chin first will probably be in control of the fight early.
Against very big men like Belouif, Hэй has had an extraordinarily low punch output, looking to explode in certain situations like that. Hэй seems to feel he was tackled. I think he mostly lunged off balance, Roy.
He did, but he's looking to land a big left hook right now if he can. He keeps dipping to his left side, looking to come up with a hook on Vitaly and hope that his hands are quicker and that he gets there first.
First mistake of the evening on Vladimir. Everybody can make that mistake. Some people feel that Hэй is elusive enough that Klitschko will have trouble landing the jab. Emmanuel Stewart says it doesn't matter whether he lands it. It matters whether he throws it.
And that's what's most important, to keep David Hэй busy trying to elude the jab.
Hэй tries with a long right hand, almost gets to Klitschko's chin. Klitschko fires back with two jabs. He misses with a roundhouse body shot.
Klitschko said, yes, speed kills about Hэй, but anticipation kills speed. You saw him earlier anticipate those lunging hooks. How long can he do it?
He acknowledges it might be difficult for him to win a decision. He wants to knock Klitschko out and leave him, as he says, quivering on the canvas.
Yeah, I don't think either fighter in this fight particularly cares to go the distance. They're not trying to see each other for 12 rounds. The first time we see big punches land, we're going to see big fighters sit down.
Contrast immediately apparent in round one. Hэй didn't bother to jab. Klitschko barely bothered to throw any power punches.
Fight in a wave halfway through this round. You're putting good pressure on him. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're cutting off the ring. You got him keeping his head down. Hands, you're doing just right. Perfect. Good call. Maybe trying a little bit more, but right now you're doing just what you need to do. Creating anxiety, because every way he's going, and he's doing something, twitching, and then do a fast dip left, drop right. That's how you'll get into that range for that right hand. When you drop on that right hand side, when you do it, it's got to be quick. Okay. All right? Settle down. When you drop your hands, and you've got those reactions.
Right here you see Vladimir grab David Hэй behind the head, pull him forward while he's trying to throw the big overhand, right? And that's how he ended up on the canvas.
Vladimir got more contact there than I thought he had. One way that big men treat little men in the ring is to throw them around and push them here and there.
Yeah, this is true, but I tell you what, I didn't like the way that Vladimir is trying so hard in that round to hit David Hэй. If he continues to try that hard, he may open himself up to be hit.
You're saying he should simply throw more without worrying about whether he's hitting him, right?
No, I'm saying he's trying too desperately to land a big shot. You know how the game goes. live by the gun, die by the gun.
He landed a stiff jab there. Momentarily knocked Hay back toward the ropes. Hay hasn't really been able to get close in an effective position yet.
We've talked about the ambush or insurgent style of boxing today, with quick fighters standing outside and trying to leap in and surprise and then get out. Hay hasn't been very effective in getting inside at all. He's not jabbing in to get inside. He's just looking for Vladimir to make a mistake, basically.
Well, his big plan was to take away Vladimir's jab. Roy, do you see that happening?
No, he's not taking it away yet, but what he's doing is making Vladimir spend a lot of energy chasing him around the ring. Hopefully this will wear Vladimir's legs down is what he's thinking, and then he'll be better off late in the fight if he can land those haymakers. Right there you see Hay reaching at Vladimir's chin because he has so much ground to cover to try to reach Vladimir's chin. This is why I said what Emmanuel said earlier was not true, because Vladimir is just standing in one place, walking forward, taking one step forward. Occasionally he takes a step back just in case, but he's not moving nearly as much as Дэвид Хэй is.
Klitschko is landing his jab more than Hay said he would be able to. He finally threw a big right hand a couple of minutes ago and just missed. Another miss over the top of the right hand. Hay shows his elusiveness and hand speed and lands a left hand. First significant landed punch for Дэвид Хэй. He's getting close with the right hand, but still missing.
He's still missing, but like I said, the bad thing about this is that you see Vladimir's neck, you see he's breathing very hard already. This is a pace that is far beyond what he's used to doing because he's so anxious and wants to knock Hay out so bad.
First right hand lands for Klitschko, and he lands another jab.
If Hay has an advantage with his hand speed and also with his inside fighting, because Klitschko doesn't do much fighting on the inside. But Hay doesn't seem willing to risk staying inside. He's trying everything from outside where he has to reach.
Klitschko threw 4 right hands in the round and landed a couple. He seems to be relaxing just a little bit. Beginning August 27, 24/7 comes back with Mayweather-Ortiz. Follow Floyd Mayweather and Victor Ortiz for 4 weeks as they prepare for their welterweight showdown. Then on HBO pay-per-view September 17, it's the live fight between Mayweather and Ortiz. Don't miss it.
Never getting out of bounds. You're making him in the stretch. He's going to pretty soon get frustrated because he can't get to you. Because everything he's doing, you're training on swings. Keep doing just...
I'm in the neutral corner, not in the same corner as the boxer.
Дэвид Hay's trainer and manager, and some say to a certain degree his Bengali, is the very canny Adam Booth. And Adam Booth was the dominant figure in the rules meeting yesterday, where he spent a great deal of time asking referee Gino Rodriguez to please discipline Vladimir Klitschko against holding.
Well, but it seems to have backfired in the sense that Hay seems more concerned about being held if he gets inside. So there have been very few clinches, and even almost as few exchanges.
Well, thinking about it now, if you remember back in the early days of Klitschko, people often questioned his stamina and whether he was able to breathe really good long in a fight because of how tall he was.
Good right hand by Hay.
He landed 3 of them, including the last one slightly to the back of the head.
That was the first good punch, or clean punch even, that Hay landed.
Didn't seem to have an immediate effect on Klitschko. but Hay gets the greater confidence of knowing that he can reach him now.
Yeah, Klitschko seemed to be bleeding on the nose early in the fight already.
Hay is taunting him still in the ring, saying, come on, come on.
It's almost like Vladimir is too serious.
You think he's locked himself up in some way? You think he's so anxious that he can't throw?
He can throw, but can he continue to throw like this for 12 rounds? That's what's most important.
Well, if he's not getting hit much, he sure can.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Larry, the job ain't to hit him much. The job is to just hit him every now and then because of his suspect chin and the way that he used to tire so badly in the early parts of his career. If you're the smaller man, that's what you're thinking. Avoid his punches, stick around as long as possible. Hopefully you land something good.
Twice in his career, Klitschko is seen to have lost because of sheer exhaustion against Ross Purity and Raymond Brewster.
And if you know this, then your point is to try to exhaust him.
He gets Hay against the ropes and lands a left and a right. Third round, by far the most interesting in the fight. Hay has suddenly become competitive in the round. Klitschko is getting more aggressive.
Hay may think he has him measured a little. He is not moving as much as he did earlier. The second takedown of the fight.
And now, Genaro Rodriguez tells Klitschko not to push down.
Could be either way. I don't know who's ahead. It could be either way because nobody's landing much, so they don't know how to move it. So you got to step it up a little bit more to him now, okay? Step it up a little because the fight could be going either way. I don't know. Got to step to him a little bit more. Is that a yellow adrenaline for it? You step it up a little bit. He's getting tired now.
Round 4 begins. Our unofficial score. Harold Letterman is here in Hamburg. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I am, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. Vladimir Klitschko. You know, Jim, when I took Boxing 101, they told me to keep my hands up. David Hay doesn't keep his hands up. He drops them way down most of the time. And Vladimir just picked him off with that left jab in rounds 1 and 2. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. But in round 3, David stepped up his attack, showed us that even though you keep your hands down, you can land a right hand over the top. Landed the better punches in the 3rd round. I thought he won it. 2-1. Klitschko.
Klitschko just landed a right hand that briefly turned Hay's head to the side.
Hay didn't learn watching Boxing 101. He learned a lot watching Boxing Roy Jones Jr., so he's never going to put his hands up. He'll get knocked out with him right there at his side.
Hay comes from the Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather school of offense. He would rather start with a lead left hook or a straight right hand than begin behind the jab. It makes him more unpredictable, more fluid on offense, a little harder to match up with.
Honestly, and it also puts a lot more pressure on you to have your hands down because now you know you can't make the mistakes that people normally make. You have to be ready at all times to move your head because you're not using your hands for defense.
Well, Klitschko himself drops the left hand, as you see there quite frequently, inviting right-hand counters.
A lot of feinting, ducking, not much punching.
Well, in a fight like this, Larry, you know, we didn't expect a lot of punches. We expect for big punches to do big things. That's why you like the heavyweights.
Well, but they're not really engaging, boy. This is all tactics and not a lot of real action.
Larry, is it up to Hay to make the fight?
It's up to both of them, but Hay, who accused Klitschko of being boring and ruining the heavyweight division by not engaging, certainly isn't an action fighter, let's say, up to now.
Klitschko just missed with a right hand over the top.
The other problem we have is we don't see any body shots. If they wanted to engage more, just go to the body.
Well, big men like Klitschko often avoid throwing body shots because they don't want to be countered. What about Hay?
Well, as tall as Klitschko is, if he threw a straight right to Hay's body, there's no way Hay can really counter him.
Hard right hand by Hay. Seems to momentarily stun Klitschko. Now he's fine.
I didn't think that punch landed clean.
I might have gotten too excited, Larry.
Neither did that one. Neither did that one.
Yes, that last one did.
I guess Harold will be the judge of that.
Get back. He's still in these rounds, maybe getting punches. You got to let your shots go a little bit now. When he starts complaining and the referee gets out of the way, go to him right away. You're letting him organize too much. He's not the bravest guy, but he's getting to play with the fight because you're not pushing him enough. You got to start stepping to him a little bit more. You understand? You got to pick up the pace a little bit more now. You're giving him too much room. You know, he throw a wide punch and you jump back, the crowd go crazy. It may be the end of you lost the round. So you're going to have to pick it up right. This fight can be up and
Seconds out, please.
4 rounds in Hamburg. Vladimir Klitschko against Дэвид Хэй for the heavyweight championship of the world. Our truck tells us, having watched German replays of that last right hand, that it did not land.
I could have told him that.
Rain is starting to fall outside the area of the ring, which is covered by the canopy. The rain cannot fall into the ring, but the dampness in the air is palpable. Although we've seen no real slipping and no evidence that the canvas is wet, Roy.
No, we haven't. But Дэвид Хэй is doing something really smart here. He's talking to Vladimir, trying to make him upset so that he can lose his composure. And with Emmanuel in the corner telling him to pick it up some, they're asking a lot out of Vladimir Klitschko, and I'm wondering if this is going to help him or is it going to hurt him.
Vladimir's taking advantage of the chance while Hay has his hands down at his sides to throw several jabs, landing some. That right hand thoroughly blocked by Klitschko's left.
The thing you don't like about this for Vladimir Klitschko is the fact that in his fights that he loses, he allows guys to throw punches at him like that. He's always better when he's the guy that's doing the punching, not the guy that's getting punched at. Right now, he's not throwing enough big shots at Дэвид Хэй to put Дэвид Хэй on the defensive.
He landed a lead left hook a moment ago. It's a punch that he throws well, and maybe he doesn't throw it enough.
Дэвид Хэй sure looks defensive to me.
He's not defensive. He's just looking to counter and throw one shot. He's not worried about Vladimir's big punches right now.
But there was another lead left hook by Klitschko. I wonder if there's a strategy change coming out of the Klitschko corner. First right-hand thunder of the fight by Klitschko.
And that was a good combination by Klitschko.
He backs away easily from Hay's overhand right.
Third takedown.
Some trainers say to bigger fighters, you are the boss, be the boss. But Klitschko may be flirting with a point deduction if he pushes Hay down again.
And he has Hay's nose bleeding now from that last right hand.
that right hand might have landed.
Without a doubt.
Pretty good round for Vladimir Klitschko, or so it appeared from
You
here.
gotta let punches go. You might be losing the damn championship. I don't know what it is. Believe it or not, you let him land a punch at the end of every round. You're going back, let the punches go. When he comes in, hit with a check hook. Don't just jump back and then go back and wait. You got to let punches go. You understand? You're jabbing. You gotta let the shots go. You got them all out of balance, but you're not throwing enough punches at him. And pick it up a little bit more. Because the fighters are close. Every round he let.
Right here you see a beautiful straight right hand behind the jab landed by Klitschko. Left a little bruise on David Hay's forehead and got a nosebleed. Then you see David Hay try to answer with the right hand, and Klitschko just put him back to the canvas once again.
So far, David Hay has been a better salesman than a fighter.
You saw the CompuBox graphic, which indicated that while David Hay has landed 13 body shots in the fight, Klitschko, leading him with 51 landed punches to 36, has thrown every landed punch to the head. Roy Jones's point was not that difficult to hit Hay with a right hand to the body. Maybe Vladimir should consider it. Just misses with the right hand there. You heard Emanuel Stewart's urgency between rounds, and this is something that we have seen consistently from Emanuel in his heavyweight championship fights. He urges his fighters onward with increasing aggressiveness as the fight goes on. Viewers will remember him screaming at Lennox Lewis to knock Mike Tyson out and get it over with.
The first booze of the night.
Well, your point about Hay, Larry, surfaces in that the Brits have finally decided to quiet down. For most of the night, their dominance and noise would have made you think that the Beatles were still playing over in the Reefer Belt. Hay lands a jab. There's a rarity. Another jab from David Hay.
And he's seeming quite comfortable in the ring right now. He's not moving as much. He's staying more set in front of Vladimir. Vladimir is still throwing that good jab, but he's not connecting much.
Well, it looks as though perhaps Adam Booth has mentioned to Hay, you're not going to knock him out unless you stand and fight. There seems to be blood on the left cheek of Vladimir Klitschko. Not sure whether it comes from his nose or whether there's another mark on the cheek.
There's a mark on the left cheek under that left eye.
Yep, a mouse, there it is. Obviously the product of a Hay right hand.
A haymaker.
That's the same place where Cassius Clay cut Sonny Liston, February 25, 1964. Right on the cheek. Klitschko buttoned that round with another quick left hook to David Hay. And Hay couldn't get a lot done in that one. July 13, it's the premiere of The Curious Case of Curt Flood, an HBO sports documentary examining the life and career of former baseball player Flood, whose fight for free agency forever changed professional sports. On the next Real Sports, a look at one of the wildest, craziest rites of summer. The annual Running of the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain. Mary Carrillo, of course, no fear, checks it out firsthand.
Seconds out, please.
So we go past the midway point of the fight. Almost nobody thought that Vladimir Klitschko would pound out another routine decision against David Hэй, but increasingly it looks as though that's possible. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I agree with you 100%, Jim. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1, Vladimir Klitschko. Jim, I don't know when David Hay's going to start fighting, but he better start fighting soon because he's letting this fight get away. I mean, the guy, he bobs, he weaves, he weaves, he blobs, he makes faces at you, he falls down, but he has a punch. If you don't punch, you can't win. Oh, there's a punch.
Huge left hook by Klitschko.
You know, Jim, let me comment on this. I don't think Vladimir's shoving him down that much. I think the guy's falling down, to be honest with you.
And now Klitschko is deducted a point. Despite your opinion, Harold.
I'm not sure that was a good call.
I agree wholeheartedly with Harold that Hay is lunging in, ducking his head, and most of his falls to the canvas have been because of that.
Well, let me point out that I know nobody in boxing who has been more critical of Vladimir Klitschko for holding over the years than Harold Letterman. So when Harold Letterman says he's not holding, that's news.
That was a point that was won in the officials' meeting yesterday.
Exactly right. Credit that point to Adam Booth. He talked his way into that point yesterday. Hay keeps looking at Gino Rodriguez. Frankly, you're fighting Vladimir Klitschko, David. Another right-hand shot by Hay, just short. Klitschko looser with his jab now than in the early rounds, Roy. Not as stiff with it.
No, he's not as stiff with it, but he's not using it enough.
Well, Hay's constantly moving side to side,
which is smart on David Hay's part, because it doesn't allow Vladimir to set that big right hand up.
Lead left hook by Hay.
Hay is fighting virtually a totally tactical fight.
Well, if after all the talk, David Hay comes in and essentially goes away quietly against Vladimir Klitschko, he won't be the first, and he probably won't be the last.
Well, the good thing about this one is we can't say that until the last bell ring.
Yep.
Because he's a very hard puncher.
But to make that count, you have to throw. Because of German television coverage, you cannot see what I'm going to describe to you right now. Emmanuel Stewart has spent the first 30 seconds of the between-round period in the middle of the ring arguing with referee Gino Rodriguez about the deduction of that point.
Away and walking
What's coming up?
Yeah, you're doing fine, baby. You're doing fine, man.
Punch.
Keep it up. It's kind of unfair because you'll see right here when David Hay comes forward, Klitschko does hold the back of his head sometime, but all the time, like right there, there's not enough pressure on the back of his head really to push him down. Once again, he's just clinching once the guy gets close to him, which is what a tall guy does. And right there, he just threw a punch and he leaned on it and pushed him down. That's the ones he should get warned for, not the first three.
We've counted 4 pushdowns, rounds 1, 5, 6, and 7. And as you mentioned, Gino Rodriguez deducted a point in the last round. That's why Harold Letterman scored that round 9-9. Klitschko the winner of the round, but a point deducted.
Hay talked big. Maybe he dreamed big. He ain't fighting big.
Well, he didn't expect to win rounds, and he isn't. He did expect to score a knockout, and he still has 5 rounds in which to do it.
And that's all he's looking for. He's not looking to win a decision.
You look at the land one punch, Roy, and win the heavyweight championship of the world. That's it?
That's how
That's his whole plan?
That's his whole plan.
Well, ain't a good plan. You can't go into the ring trying to win the biggest title in sport, trying to land one punch in 12 rounds.
Well, you got to think about it like this, Larry. A guy against a 7-foot guy landed 5 scoring punches around, then turned it off. What was he trying to do? Win the round by 5-1 or 5-2, and he's satisfied. He tells you he's not wasting no punches.
Yeah, well, he's wasting my time right now.
But he's getting paid for it.
There are two big men, little men scenarios that worked for me. One was Dempsey tearing off after the ponderous Willard, and the other is Michael Spinks boxing and brawling with the older Larry Holmes. This ain't close to either one.
So you trying to say I didn't mix it up with Ruiz?
Michael Spinks would have been flat out ashamed to go into the ring and throw just few punches.
Oh, goodness.
This time, Hay tries to buy a point. That was blatant. And the German crowd boos. The Brits are too deeply in love with this to see it.
Wake me when the fight starts.
As soon as the bell rang, because Emmanuel was going to raise some kind of sand in that corner.
Let your left hook go. He's leaning into it. He's tired. He's not seeing punches. He's got you doing what he's doing now. You know what you're both doing? You're both here doing this, doing this, doing that. Let your left hook go. You hit him with it. He's right now very tired, and he's drained mentally. Step to him.
Seconds out, please.
We go to round 9. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the fight, it was the near unanimous opinion of experts that Hay's best chances would come early in the fight, and that the longer it went, the worse it might be for him. Early on, there was tremendous crowd enthusiasm and excitement every time Hay threw a punch. Now, there's a palpable silence in the arena, and Hay lands a right hand to bring the crowd back. His most significant shot in a few rounds. And he follows it up with nothing. So obviously he didn't believe the punch did damage.
No, he's not really interested in landing a bunch of follow-up punches. He only wants to land 1 or 2 big ones every now and then. You got to remember, his nickname is Haymaker. Not boxer, not punch maker, not punch thrower, but Haymaker.
Well, we've seen the absence of jabs. He threw them in 1 round. There's one. But by and large, it's been the lead right hand or the lead left hook. Often at a wild angle. And the right hand for Klitschko lands on Hay's chin. Vladimir Klitschko's best punch in this fight has been his left hook. He's thrown it very sparingly. You heard Emanuel Stewart between rounds begging him to throw left hooks. And he's getting closer with the right hand. That seems to be his focus, Roy.
Yeah, that is his focus, and I think that's his best punch for him. He's a straight right lead because it's safer for him. It lands at a much farther distance away, so he can be much more defensive afterwards.
Let's go.
Can you take a point away from a fighter for deliberately going to the canvas?
A flopper, a soccer flopper. I don't know that I've ever seen it, but I think Hay flopped twice in the last 2 rounds. Here's the left hook.
It would help him flop more if Vladimir would shoot a right hand to the rib cage every now and then, but he won't.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just something he doesn't do. Hard right hand by Klitschko.
And that's good. It was smart because he's not overcommitting to it, so he can't easily be countered after he throws it.
Well, coming up July 23, we do expect great excitement and a hand-speed extravaganza in Las Vegas between Amir Khan and his most experienced opponent yet, Zab Judah. Let's look ahead to the fight in their words.
This is not a game. This is for real.
I've been in bigger fights than Amir Khan. I've been in bigger showdowns and bigger arenas.
Let's go.
When he gets to the Mandalay Bay on July 23rd, he'll see that only one that's going to leave that ring victorious will be Super Judah.
Fought some great fighters, but I really think he's not a world-class fighter, really, because if you think about it, all the top guys he's fought, Mayweather, Costa Tszyu, Miguel Cotto, he's been beaten by them guys, and he just lacks that world-class level.
July 23, Amir Khan coming off his Fight of the Year win over Marcus Maidana in December against Zab Judah, who took the place of Tim Bradley in that fight, and it's a great opportunity for him. Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored coming to the 10th?
Okay, Jim. 7-1, 1 even, 88, 82. Vladimir Klitschko. You know, David Hay's just got to pick up the pace. I mean, he said he couldn't win a decision. He's absolutely given this fight away by not throwing any punches. Vladimir just piling up points with that left jab. David Hay just looks at him, bobs lead, but doesn't punch. In round 9, Gino Rodriguez rightly won Vladimir Klitschko for throwing that right hand, backhand. You can't backhand the guy. You have to hit the guy with the knuckle part of the glove. You can't throw it backhand. 8-1, 1 even, Vladimir Klitschko.
Vladimir's dream scenario coming into the fight, he said, was a 12th round knockout, so that he could have as much time as possible to punish Hay for all the things he said leading up to this fight in the last 2 years, and then put him away. He knocked Teddy Chambers out in the last 5 seconds of the 12th round. He'd love to duplicate that feat here. It's not that easy. More likely, it appears now, the routinely one-sided decision, which has been a feature of the Klitschko's careers, although Vladimir has had 9 knockouts in his last 10 fights.
In this scenario, and in this case, for this fight particularly, I wouldn't be so mad at Vladimir if he won by using his jab and being smart. I mean, we want to see him do things and take risks and do dangerous things, but if he's trying to win this fight and he already has a 7-round lead, why would he take a chance of trying to knock this guy out when it's very possible that this guy could knock him out?
Hey, it's one of the oldest sayings in the sport. Win this one, look sensational the next time.
But, Hay is giving him nothing to fight. Hay is just
another flop,
making a non-fight out of it.
And Gino Rodriguez just told Hay, don't do that again. He's tired of watching the flops.
Well, he smacked Klitschko with a good right hand before he flopped that time.
So it was a combination. A punch and a flop. If you have a problem with Klitschko dominance in the heavyweight division because you think they're just too big for fair competition, you're probably right. The closest anybody came to putting a wrinkle on Vladimir in his last 13 fights was Tony Thompson, who took him into the 11th and landed a few good shots. Tony Thompson, 6'5".
Well, there's another guy that's waiting on him that doesn't like neither one of them, and he has the same animosity that David Hэй has for him. And he's not a bad fighter himself. His name is Sasha Povetkin.
But he had a chance to fight Vladimir a couple of years ago and backed out of it, and it's unclear when he'll get a chance to fight the Klitschko.
I just think he wasn't ready to do it.
Right hand by Vladimir. Hэй grabs him and then tries to hit him in the back of the head.
Let's go. You hit him back. Let's go. Let's go.
And frankly, David Hay's performance in this fight is becoming more and more disappointing with each passing round.
I would say, given everything that led up to the fight, it's humiliating. He has 3 minutes to undo the previous 33.
No, he got 6.
Punches landed round by round, and here you see Klitschko dominance again. In every round since the 5th, landing in double figures, landing in double figures, well, excuse me, landing in double figures in most of the rounds, landing more than David in every round.
But you don't punch. You don't punch. He's right there tired. You're worried about waiting until the perfect position. Let the left hook right here and go. Don't worry about it being so hard. Just don't let it go. Let it go. You got to pick it up this way, I'm sorry.
Stewart still wants more. Stewart's like a football coach who wants to build the lead.
And Hэй so far seems content to go home as a lucky loser who made a big payday.
With a 50-50 share of the purse. Exactly right. Congratulations on having talked his way into that one. Larry, you made the point before the fight. David Hэй was actually the betting favorite in Great Britain. British bookies reportedly made a lot of money off the Ricky Hatton-Floyd Mayweather fight. There's another flop, and now Gino's gonna call it a knockdown. That's his answer. You want a flop? We'll call it a knockdown.
He's trying to turn this vast stadium into a flop house.
Well, that was an intelligent way for Gino Rodriguez to take care of that problem.
Very intelligent. I thought in a creative way. I've never seen that before. If Hэй was unsure he was behind in the fight before, he has to know there's only one way he can win it now. What is he made of as a prize fighter?
Yeah, we'll find out right here for sure.
Well, frankly, in the eyes of almost everybody who knows boxing, there was always only one way for him to win the fight. Box. Those people who bet on David Hэй weren't betting on him to get a decision over Vladimir Klitschko. They were betting on the knockout.
Yeah, but they were betting also that he would take some chances and risks to get there.
Yeah, and you can't say the ring was wet was why he didn't take these chances.
I think maybe he's wet the ring.
You're in rare form tonight, Larry. Hard right hand again by Klitschko. Target practice at this point in the fight. Good left hook by Vladimir. Good choice, too. That was the check hook.
Yeah, that's what he should have been doing all along instead of just grabbing him behind the head. If he threw that check hook at him some, he probably would have caught him by now.
The check hook was the punch with which Floyd Mayweather knocked out Ricky Hatton when Hatton walked into it in the 10th round.
I'm gonna count you out. I'm gonna count you out. Let's go, box.
1 round to go.
This is it, baby. It looked like that was good that he called that a knockdown because he took a point away before. This round, trying to finish up strong. These guys are not that dangerous. You see you got him out of balance all the time, but after that, go to him a little bit more. You're fighting a good fight, but you stepped it up a little bit to stop this guy. You're trying to wait till everything is perfect. You know, this guy's tired. And he never catches you when you punch. You gotta remember, he's not a counter puncher. That's what you gotta remember. Anytime he punches, he has to run forward. He's not the type of guy.
Here you see the referee is just as disgusted as we are some. David Hэй comes in, loses his mouthpiece. Klitschko pulls him forward a little bit, but the referee says, you know what? I took a point from Klitschko, now it's your turn.
Right in front of us, Carl Froch is standing up and trying to get the British fans into a frenzy for this one last round.
Carl Froch is a very good super middleweight from Britain. I think he'd make a better fight of this.
That's good defense by Klitschko.
It's the typical mode of operation for fighters who lose to Vladimir Klitschko to immediately demand a fight with Vitaly and get in line. I'm not sure how much enthusiasm there's going to be for a David Hэй matchup with the even bigger and some think even tougher Vitaly Klitschko.
Yeah, I thought he had the best chance by landing a haymaker against this Klitschko than he does the brother. The brother's a lot more disciplined.
That was a good punch.
Here's a hard right hand by Hэй. His best shot of the fight. And Vladimir is holding on.
And he's hurt.
It may be because he was stunned by that right hand.
I think he was. It was his longest hold of the fight.
Yep.
And the Brits are up. They've got 2 minutes left in which to wish their man home. And Klitschko has decided to fight back. He wants to answer. He's angry that Hэй stunned him with that shot. And now he wants to make his point entirely.
At least Hэй is not flapping now.
Vladimir bouncing on his feet. Hэй woke him up. Let's see if David can land another one.
He's not giving Hэй a chance to build something up off that punch by being offensive instead of just playing the round out, because he has to know he's way ahead.
Indeed, since the near knockdown, since the stunning punch by Hэй, Vladimir's been more dominant than at any time in the fight.
Yeah, they just traded some really good punches in the ring. Both fighters, I think, landed the right hand on each other.
Clock ticking now, less than a minute to go.
Is it too little, too late?
Hэй needs lightning right now. Klitschko just needs to stand up and finish.
Klitschko did his homework because all of David Hay's combinations that he's thrown tonight, Klitschko's been ready and has had the proper defense for them.
It's as he said, anticipation neutralizes speed.
Vladimir Klitschko closing in on his 14th consecutive victory. Ever since he came a cropper against Lehman Brewster, Emmanuel Stewart has been firmly in control of an express at the top of the heavyweight division. 9 knockouts in the last 10 fights coming in. He's still trying to get Hэй, but he may not get him here. But he is clearly in control and headed toward an almost certain decision victory, which will keep him securely in control of the heavyweight division.
Why is Hэй raising his hand? Is he just happy that this mess is over with?
Delusions of grandeur. Adam Booth is in the ring, giving what for to the referee, Gino Rodriguez. You get the impression, and now Vitaly picks up the argument with Adam Booth, and now Hay's making his point.
David. Good fight. That's why you're a bitch. Absolutely shocking.
Here's the right hand by David Hэй in the 12th round.
Yeah, he threw a left hook lead, followed by a straight right hand, landed flush on the chin, and Vladimir took it very well. However, it did force Vladimir to wake up and start his own offense.
It'd be interesting to see who won the round. It could have been Hэй with the one big shot, or Vladimir with the 2 minutes of dominance that followed it.
Well, there are a lot of disappointed heavyweight observers here tonight, and there's also another disappointed heavyweight observer right there in the ring because Vitaly wanted to see David Hay's head.
Yep, he wanted to see him knocked down. But it is a likely decision victory. Let's see how Harold scored the fight.
Okay, Jim, I've got it 117, 109, 9-2, 1 even, Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, I thought he just dominated the fight with the left jab. David Hay hurt him in the 12th round. You know, I gave it to David Hay because he landed that one punch and really stunned Vladimir, made him grip, made him hold on. But it was just a Vladimir victory with that jab.
And just to make the point, the graphic did not have the total properly. It was 117, 109, Klitschko at the end of the fight on the Letterman scorecard. Now, officials judges are, two of them are from the United States, and they're all pretty respected judges. Adelaide Bird of Nevada, 54 title fights, a veteran. Had Cloud over Mack, or had Mack ahead, and Mack was outboxing Cloud early, but then Cloud knocked him out. Stanley Christodoulou scored 116, 113 for Holyfield in the first Holyfield fight, helping to facilitate the nearly criminal draw in Madison Square Garden. That was an execrable scorecard. And Michael Pernick, 52 title fights, had Vladimir ahead of Tony Thompson when Klitschko knocked Tony Thompson out. Scoring-wise, that was a closer fight than this one is likely to be, in our view. And we await the scorecards here in Germany. Michael Buffer is holding paper in his hand and has his microphone. I'm sure Buffer is waiting for a cue from German television to give the scores. All we can do is wait for German television to decide it's time to give the scores. Buffer is reading them. He doesn't have a shocked look on his face.
Not at all.
It looks fairly ho-hum for Michael, so we continue to await.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards. Adelaide Bird, 117, 109. Michael Pernick, 118, 108. Stanley Christodoulou, 116 to 110. All three judges scored it unanimously to the winner. Now the unified world champion, Dr. Steel Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko.
Another victory for Vladimir, his 14th consecutive win. Hay momentarily halts the knockout streak by finishing the fight. Roy Jones, Vladimir Klitschko claimed to us in our meeting with him that at 35 he feels as good as he's ever been. Certainly, if that's possible in boxing, it's only possible for heavyweights. How do you see his career at this moment and how much longer he can exert his dominance over the division?
Well, once again, I'd be wrong if I didn't say it's not only the heavyweights, because Bernard is 46 and still looking better than ever, so
Absolutely.
You can't say that. I think he looked better tonight than he normally looks, and I do think that this can extend his time in the heavyweight division and as heavyweight champ because of his size. He's so big that as long as he stays mobile, and his defense has seemed to pick up a little because he didn't get caught with that big left hook tonight like we would have expected. So I think that he's definitely got a lot going for him, and I think he has a lot more longevity left as champion.
And, you know, as far as Bernard Hopkins is concerned, his edge is craft. Klitschko certainly had a craft edge on Hay, landing 62 more punches, throwing 219 more punches, landing at a slightly higher percentage. But, you know, it isn't just the size. As is the case with Hopkins, and you look at the jabs and see that Klitschko landed nearly 3 times as many jabs. The jab isn't really a big weapon for David Hay. What I'm trying to get to, Roy, is that just as is the case with Hopkins, he has a craft edge over all of his opponents as well as a size edge.
Yes, he does. And the good thing about him is that he's learned more about his craft later in his career than he did in the early part of his career. So he's another guy who's proving now to be a late bloomer in the sport.
German television calls the shots here, as we've mentioned before. So our Larry Merchant, who's now in the ring, looking for interviews with both the winner and the loser, must wait until after German television, until after British television. We go third. So as we wait our chance to hear from Larry and the fighters, let's once again look ahead to July 23rd, Amir Khan versus Zab Judah in Las Vegas.